Hey, Paul, did you know dogs can't get MRIs? No, but cats can. Welcome to another episode of the Mighty Code Coder. I'm Rob Fitzgerald, here to make you great and help you innovate. In this episode, we are finally going to build our first web page. But before we do, let's talk about Network Access Control List, or NACL, or just ACL. Access Control Lists set rules to inbound and outbound traffic to your web server. This comes in handy at a school where not all traffic should be allowed to come into and be accessed by students. To better demonstrate this, let's get going and let's log into our Aws console. But before we do that, let's go to the board and make sure you understand where our VPC is now. So this is our VPC now, as of last time. Remember last time we actually created a NAT instance so our private subnet could get out to the internet to do updates, okay? But let's move this way and let's talk about this ACL piece. Now you see that each subnet has one ACL and they're all going to the default ACL. Okay, this was the default one made. When we made our VPC, it automatically made that for us. But now let's make a custom one because we want to block certain IP addresses from going into our public web server. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to make another one and show that there's actually going to be two ACLs in here, one default and one custom. All right, so this one will still remain. All right, I'm not so sure I'm going to use it for this one. It will actually still go into this one by the time I'm done with this. All right, but let's make another ACL, and I'm going to call this my web NACL. Okay, and it's actually going to be used for this one. So you can see that each subnet can only have one ACL. So we're going to use this to do it. I don't think that's true. I think you could have two or more. But in our case, we're going to have just this one go to this one and this default one go to our private. Okay, does that make sense? All right, I'll look into that. So that's what we're looking at now. And let's go and get the Aws console and get going. All right, so Paul, be cool. That was funny. That was a funny joke. All right. Anyway, let's, I actually logged in. I'm trying to log in for you guys so you don't have to sit there and watch me struggle with my passwords. So I am the AWS Management Console. This is a great piece to bring to a school, and what a great discipline to learn for a student. You get certified in this and walk out of high school with a very nice paying job if you go down this route. So anyway, so we're going to actually go into our VPC. That's where we take care of these. All right. And if you look in the upper right area here, there's a security section. That's where ACLs are. And if you click on network security, all right, or network ACLs, you'll see that we have a default one in there already. Okay. And it's associated with two subnets. So that kind of answers my question. You can associate it with more than one. Okay. But for this instance, we're going to have just one. Each subnet is going to be associated with one ACL. All right. So if you click on this one, you come down here, you could see that one, here's the Subnet Associations. It's associated with both. And if you look at my inbound rules, okay, you see that 100 is all traffic to IP4 and it allows it. And 101 is going to be IP6 and allows all traffic. So that's what the default is. All right. So what we want to do is actually create another one and deny it to certain IP addresses. In this case, it'll be the IP address coming from my computer since I can control that right here. All right. So let's go ahead and create a new one. All right, now I think I called it a my web NACL on the board. So I'll do the same here. And then we're going to go ahead and use this coding VPC. All right, and I'll go ahead and hit create. All right, so if I create that one, what do you think it default? What do you think about its inbound and outbound rules? What do you think it defaults to? Well, I'm going to show you. So right here, if you click on it, it says all traffic is denied. Okay, so it defaults to denying everything in, and you're going to have to add some inbound and outbound rules to make this thing work. All right, so let's go ahead and actually make our web page, and let's make our web page, and let's actually go in and show you how I do that, and let's access it, and then let's add an ACL to deny certain IP addresses to go into it. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to my EC2 instance and get my public IP address. All right, and so I will go in here, this is it, and I will copy this like that. All right, I will go over back into my terminal, and it looks like I'm already logged into it, which is very nice. And let's actually, I'm actually in the root directory right now. So let's actually, if you look at this, I actually created the web page already. There is index.html. All right. And I'm going to back up and show you how I did that. All right. So let's go CD. Let's go backwards here. All right. And this is our web server. And there it is. Okay. So in order to do this, I'm going to have to do some steps to go ahead and get our web server up and started. All right. So let me do that now. All right. So one of the first things I have to do to install a web server on here is yum install. All right. Why? This installs an Apache web server into my public subnet. Okay. And it says it's already installed. Okay. If it's not installed, it'll actually say, it'll put everything in there for you. All right. All right. So like I said, I already did it. So then the next thing we have to do is we have to check configuration. Okay, make sure it's on. So this says it's enabled. And then the next thing we have to do is actually start the service. So we're going to put service H. Now it's going to probably say this is already started because I have started on a previous episode. All right, so there it is. So it's started. And now I could go forward to that web server started, and it has a file system where you put your HTML pages. So we're going to have to CD to that. Okay, so I'm going to go to var www HTML. Okay, so now I'm in there, and I actually, if I go ls, there's the web page that I created earlier. But I want to show you how I made that web page, so I'll make another one. Okay, so I am actually going to, let's clear this and go take you to the top. And let's go ahead and go nano. Let's call this page home.html. It'll be our home page. Okay, it'll open up this Linux program, this little simple text editor, and this is not a section to have you learn HTML, but if you wanted to, we could do some lessons on that. All right, and I'll say this is your home. All right, something like that. And then you got to close your tags. And close your HTML. All right, looks good. I'm going to hit Control X and hit Y and then hit return. That'll take me back. Now, what we could do is we could go ahead and look at that and see if it's there. So we'll hit ls to see if it's there. So now you see I have two, home.html and index.html. And now let's go ahead and see if I type in cat home.html, you can actually see the code right there in your terminal. Pretty nice, right? So that's just a simple HTML page. And so I have that ready, and I want to go ahead and see if I can do that. So now let's go back to our Safari. Okay, let's add another tab here. And I think I have this pasted still. Do I? Paste. There it is. Ah, hello world. So hello world. It's going to hello world because hello world is what a web server, an index page is what a web server actually defaults to. And let me see if I could do that home. I thought it would default to home also, but let's see. Oh, okay, so I could go forward. I just put my address in and put this is your home. Okay, so I can go to I just put my address and put /home.html and it goes, this is your home. So there it is. All right, so either way, you know that from my computer, I'm getting into this site. And if I came back here and cat my index, you'd see that it's hello world. All right, so there it is, hello world. So you saw both of those come up in a web page, and so my web server is working. I'm serving up web pages, and that's pretty exciting. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go back to my VPC. Let's work with that my web ACL, the Subnet Associations, and then we'll try to see if we could get to those same pages. All right, so here is my. Go back here. Let's go back to my web pages, to my VPC. And now we will go to our network ACL. All right. And I will go ahead and click on that ACL, and I'll do my subnet associations, and I'll edit them. And you'll see that I have, it's associated to two. I'm just going to grab one. So grab that one and hit edit. And now if you see, if I click on it, subnet association, I have this public one. And then the public one just still has the default. Okay, so I didn't change that. So like I wrote up on the board, we have one going into the public, which is the new one, and the default one is going into the private. All right. So now let's see what happens if I go to Safari and refresh it and see what happens. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to hit return. And you'll see up here, it's trying to connect, but it gets stuck. Something happens, okay? It means there's no inbound rules for this, all right? So it's if I waited here long enough, you'd see a page that says can't see it, or get my cable network or something. I don't know, all right? So, but it's locked up, all right? Both pages, all right? So that's home, and let's go to the other one, which is the index page. I feel like it's still going to the index page, huh? Oh, there it is. Okay, so now it's locked up. Okay, so there it's not going to make it, and it's finally going to fail in a big way. All right, so let's now go back into here, and let's set some inbound rules for this ACL. All right, so we're going to set 4 rules, or maybe just 3. All right. So let's let's go inbound rules, and let's go to edit inbound rules, and let's add a rule. Okay. So remember, AWS and most networkers like to work with hundreds. So the first 100 is going to be, this is going to be your HTTP access. So we'll do port 80. Okay, and you can see that this is the IP4, or IP version 4 is going to allow it in. Let's add another one at 200, and let's have this come in at port 443. That'll be the secure browser. All right, and let's add, next one will be 300, and then we will have that at port 22. Okay. And then I believe that we actually are going to do a 400 later, but right now this is good. All right, so we save that, and if you look back over here, you'll see that it actually tells you what they all are. So HTTP, HTTPS, SSH, okay, and allow. All right. Now outbound rules, we got to do the same thing. Okay. So I'm going to go and edit it, add a rule. 100 was 80. Okay. Add 200. 443. Okay. 300 for the outbound rule is actually going to be 1024-65-535. Okay, does that sound familiar to anybody? Okay, now why did I do a port range on the outbound? That has something to do with our ephemeral port. Okay, so here it is, ephemeral port. And if you go to Wikipedia, it talks about an ephemeral port. It says on servers, ephemeral ports may be used as the port assignment on a server end of communication. This is done to continue communications with a client that initially connected to one of the server's well-known service listening ports. But it will actually, I think it says it down here, will actually time out when they're done. Note that the term server includes workstations running network services that receive connections initiated. That's not what I wanted. Basically, this thing times out when you're done using it. Okay, actually, it's right here. The allocations are temporary and only valid for the duration of communication session. After completion, the port becomes available for reuse. Okay, so that's why you have to do the outbound so that it turns off and then doesn't keep that thing open and it's susceptible to being hacked. All right, now if you go to Amazon, same thing. They have network ACLs, and you can go to ephemeral ports, and it talks about the exact port. It says a NAT gateway uses port 1024-65. Okay, and so we are using a NAT instance, but it is the same. Okay, so there you go. All right, so let's go back to it. And that's that one, and let's hit save. And now if we look at these rules, you have all these, and then now we showed you that blocked, but now let's go back in and let's actually see if we can get into it now with these rules. All right, so here we go. Let's go back here. Oh, see, it finally says it finally failed. All right, and now we're just going to hit refresh. And now there it is, hello world. And then if I go / remember the other one I made was home.html, and then this is your home. Okay, so I'm in now that I set those rules that allow traffic. Very cool. Now, we haven't blocked anything yet, so let's try to block my computer, okay? And so in order to do that, I have to actually find what my IP address is. So I'm gonna do another, I'm gonna go to, whoops, I don't wanna switch that. I'll just do another tab, and I'll go to Google. And in Google, I'm going to say, what's my IP? All right, so there's my IP to my computer currently. So I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to go back into my management system, and I'm going to make another rule. And I'm going to go ahead and change an inbound rule. This is outbound, so let me go back. Let's go to inbound rules, and I'm going to edit it. And I'm going to add another rule. I'm going to put 400. And I am going to, we'll actually block 80. Okay, so I'm going to block 80. And then the source is going to be that address I put, /32. All right, and then we're going to, instead of allowing, we're going to say deny. Okay, and then I'm going to hit save. All right, so you can see it's denying my computer to port 80. And if I go back to that and I hit refresh, it still goes in. Why does it go in? Well, that's part of the lesson of ACLs. You kind of have to know how these things work. I'll go to the other one too. Okay, it still goes in, no problem. Here's how ACLs work. The very first time I come in, I allow everything to go into 80. Therefore, it is now allowing everything into 80. In order for me to go in and block it, I've got to move it up, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and edit this again, and I'm going to make this now 99, and I'm going to move it up, save it, and then there it is. It's in the lead, okay? See that? So it's the very first one. It says block me. All right, so that's saved. Let's go ahead and go back to this, and I'll hit refresh. And there you go. I'm getting blocked. Look at that. It's getting blocked. It's not coming refreshing this thing. Okay, and if we waited here long enough, you would get that error insofar as saying we can't access that address. And I could show you it is for the home one also. Okay, so we have a web server that's serving up pages, and as an ACL, it can deny certain pages, certain IP addresses, and that's really, really kind of cool. That's like blocking your friends on Facebook or Instagram or something. You could block them. All right, so pretty cool. All right, let me see if there's anything else I have to go over. That seems like it. That's your ACL. So now my private subnet is using my public subnet, NAT's gateway, and I can install stuff on it, and I could block people from going to my public, my public subnet, and getting in there and seeing my web pages. All right, so that does it for this episode. Hope that you enjoyed it. Give it a try. See what you have. If you have any questions, put down below. And yeah, I already said that they could put questions down below. And if you have any other comments, you can go to the website, or questions, you can go to my website at www.themightycodecoder.com, or find me at Twitter at mightycodecoder. Yeah, just cool it, man. Just take it easy, all right?